Right. So Lumen Corp. Okay. So here's there's some aspects in this TV show that pertain to some of this. It pertains to some of these like older subcontractor kind of ideas. Okay, so the board. Essentially, what that the people who never talk and just have a speaker. It's like Charlie's Angels, kind of. Okay, it's like that. But what that ends up being is like where essentially these companies that are like this, they essentially have figureheads as the board of directors and stuff. But then behind the scenes, usually there's some sort of group that holds blackmails over everybody. And then they essentially run it. Nobody really knows who they are. And that nowadays, that type of idea gets utilized in ways where essentially they get told in a pair of speakers. And it's usually where these kind of companies, essentially, they're they're run as a satanic S&M company. I mean, that's kind of what it is. Nazi company, satanic S&M company. That's like what it represents. And that from that, essentially the people that actually make all the decisions and stuff, nobody really ever knows who they are. And they essentially run everything through like voyeur sites. Basically, everything is all cameraed up all over everywhere. They'll have companies that are like that, and it's the structure of a satanic corporation, basically. And they like when she gets fired for like not telling anybody about the chick trying to commit suicide or something. See, this stuff that like in the last episode, the guy just like snaps and starts biting the black guy and shit. That's what these satanic corporations do. And that a lot of times you won't really know. I mean, you know, you won't really know. There'll just be some nondescript company or something that'll have like super difficult security to get through and shit. And that the way that these people are with their split memory and split personalities, that's essentially that's what they did. I mean, that's what Satanists do, that stuff. And that this essentially is like essentially it's like these type of corporations usually are meant to be laundering. They attempt to launder usually pedophile porn. Basically, the money made off of pedophilia. And that's kind of what, I mean, there'll be other things, but that essentially they're just companies that are laundering illegal money, basically. That's what their structure kind of is, okay? And so this type of stuff, there's then there's like science versions that basically do like illegal human testing kind of stuff inside of their companies, okay? They, they do. And that's the kind of stuff that this would essentially falls into like what part of what one of those type of companies would do. I mean, they're just gonna have, the whole idea is that they won't necessarily be like Lumen. In ways, Lumen is a humorous, like the Apple Corporation. So Lumen is like this TV show will be humorous to people at Apple, okay? Because it's not like this. This would be like where certain aspects of like egg bar. You made your quota. And so that's the kind of stuff where there's aspects to this that like you don't really get. It's just boring work all the time. And then you get attaboys. You get a wild disco party. With that, it's basically kind of like where nothing is that exciting. And so basically people get like excited of something being like different or something at Apple. And there's other companies that are like that where it's all the same fucking day over and over again. And then it's like, we met our quota. Awesome. Waffle party or something. You know, it's kind of like that. And that since you don't really get anything for doing your job, you know, it's like it gets so mundane. Those kind of companies. So that's like where I know that regular tech companies would probably view this as humorous, okay? The evil Apple severance. But that here's where like the real reality to this is like what a satanic corporation is run like. And that a lot of times people won't even know what is going on in the company or anything. And that it kind of runs in like a clearance security way. And it usually has to do with the fact that they're usually doing a bunch of illegal stuff. That's why they're like that. And so that's why I bring up the people that talk out of the microphone or out of the speaker or whatever. Those people are like, usually they're like politicians or super rich guys and stuff like that. People that would go to like Hugh Hefner's house type of people, those type of people. And so they, for whatever reason, they won't have a direct ownership in the company, but they'll run everything by blackmails. And that's the speaker. And then they never talk and they never show their face. They're essentially overseeing operations, basically. And that they send down commands in a very secret coded way, but that everybody in the corporation is usually horribly blackmailed. Everybody is usually a part of a satanic S&M nowadays, and that these type of corporations a lot of times do like the satanic rituals, and that the satanic rituals are extremely illegal, hence the like security aspects to the stuff. This is kind of like what, you know, this is what I'm talking about. They have people nowadays, these S&Ms nowadays are becoming more streamlined, and that then they attempt to build companies essentially in this way. And see, once they build a company, then usually somebody comes in and steals all the blackmails, and then controls their company from afar. And essentially it's like those people basically, in ways, they benefit in roundabout ways, and that essentially they're milking money off of child trafficking, child brothels, child prostitution a lot of the times. And that a lot of the times these people, they don't really do anything at work, but see, their Audi is busy running drugs, child prostitution and shit, and then they don't really remember when they're at work, or they would be like super paranoid all the time. And see, that's kind of like where this psychological switching stuff actually does happen, and that they're so efficient about it nowadays that it becomes more more pronounced like this. I mean, it is. And so essentially, that is where day to day, there's the company itself operates to facilitate laundering of the money. And so then they're kind of like this a little bit. I mean, this is it's a little more exaggerated, I guess, but they would kind of be like this.